Hello everyone. So today's mission is that we're gonna try to get some farm fresh eggs to use for the Eggs Benedict. There's lots of farms in the Machosen area, so we're gonna drive through here and see if we can find a cute little farm fresh egg stand. Nice. Look at those. So the reason West Coast Benedict is my favorite thing to eat for brunch is that every time I go to my grandma's house in Medicine Hat, Alberta, we make smoked salmon Eggs Benedict, and she is very particular in the kitchen and she's the boss. So there wasn't a lot of things that I was allowed to do because you have to keep your eye on it. The one thing that I was allowed to do is stand there and stir the Hollandaise sauce. So as long as I stood there and just focused on it, because we'll talk about how that's the only thing about Hollandaise sauce is you can't leave your eye off of it for 1 second. So it makes me think of my grandma, and I gave her a phone call yesterday to get some tips and tricks on poaching the eggs exactly right and making the Hollandaise sauce. Making things like Eggs Benedict is actually not too difficult. So we're gonna make an easy West Coast Benny with smoked salmon. That's my favorite type of Benedict. And yeah, we got some local farm fresh eggs and I'm excited to make it. Okay, so I'm gonna saute some onions and some spinach to put on the base of the Benedict. This is totally personal choice. I just like adding a few vegetables and it adds a bit of a sweet touch from the caramelization of the onions. So I just have a pan on low heat, add 1 tablespoon of oil, and then I sliced my onions, added it to the pan, and we'll just kind of cook those till they're browned up a little bit for probably about 10 minutes. And then once those are cooked, add the spinach in. Spinach only takes about 30 seconds before it kind of steams down. And then we can set that aside and start on the Hollandaise sauce. Okay, one of the main reasons I think everyone believes that Eggs Benedict is so difficult to make is the Hollandaise sauce. And my grandma, who is very persnickety about cooking, she even uses the Hollandaise packet. This will make life so much easier, and trust me, it's still very, very tasty. So with the Hollandaise sauce from the packet, we're just gonna melt down a scant half a cup of butter in a saucepan, and then we're gonna add in the packet, gradually whisking as we go. Then we're gonna pour in the cup of milk, whisking as we go, and then slowly you'll bring it to a boil and then let it cool. But the key thing with this is that when we start the Hollandaise sauce, we're going to devote all our attention to it. You just stay there and stir. Don't take your eyes off of it, otherwise it will either boil over, burn the bottom, or just not be the right consistency. So we're just gonna whisk this until the butter and the Hollandaise packet are fully incorporated. We don't have a whisk, so we're just using a fork. Then we're gonna take off the heat. And slowly add the milk. At this point, it feels like nothing's happening, you're gonna be tempted to either stop stirring or to turn up the heat, but just be patient. All of a sudden it just starts thickening and it's like everything kind of happens at once. So that's why you just need to be patient and keep at it. Don't leave the station. That seems good to me. We will take it off the heat and set it aside for a while we poach the eggs. Just put a lid on top and maybe give it a stir every once in a while just so it isn't completely hard. When getting ready to poach the eggs, you want to use either like a deep dish pan, or if you don't have that, just use a large pot. Ideally you want it deep enough, like about 3 inches, that there's enough water that the egg will be able to be completely submerged. But when you get the deep dish pot, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult if the eggs go all the way to the bottom, like trying to scoop them out. So happy medium is trying to get like that 3 to 5 inch depth. And then I'm gonna add just a pinch of salt to my water for the poaching and a spoonful of vinegar. Apparently the vinegar is supposed to help keep like the egg whites together. I've never tried without. My grandma tells me to do it, so I add vinegar every time. So these are the farm eggs that we got yesterday from High Meadow Farm in Machosen. So if you look at these eggs, they're quite big. They're also brown eggs. It's because of the type of chicken that it's from. Brown eggs and white eggs don't necessarily have, they don't have a different nutritional profile, but I just personally really like these quality eggs from the farm. You know that the chickens are treated humanely and that they can free range. So we're gonna use these eggs. So right now I've got my poaching water, bringing it up to a simmer, and then we're gonna add the eggs. Again, you don't want the water to be like boiling. You want it to just be simmer. We're gonna gently place the eggs in there and we're gonna kind of baste them, scooping water and putting it on top. I'm gonna make a little whirlpool and then I can add my egg and it should stay together nicely. Ours are nice and low in there, so we don't have to worry too much about making sure that we're basting the eggs and covering. But if you're in a shallower pan, you might need to kind of scoop the water on top of them. So we're just keeping an eye. We want all the egg white to be fully hardened, and you don't want them to be in there too long. I'm just trying to cut so that they separate. Okay, we're just gonna microwave the English muffins for just 10 seconds to soften them up a little bit. Sometimes if you toast them, they might get a little bit too dry or too hard. We just wanna warm them up. For our West Coast Benedict, we have some BC Pacific sockeye salmon, some smoked salmon. So just they'll be in little pieces, little like shaved pieces, so just put 1 piece on top of each English muffin. Look at that yolk.
And go for the bite.
Super good. I love salmon.